Welcome to Conversations with Edigga, where insightful dialogues unfold. Join host Edigga as he dives into captivating discussions with music artists, entrepreneurs, and visionaries from around the world. Get ready to explore diverse perspectives, gain valuable insights, and be inspired. This is Conversations with Edigga.
Come on. Yeah. All right, y'all.
Yes. Thank you. Hey, another great Sunday. I am off work. Yes. Yeah. Can't believe it, can you? Like 2 days in a row, I was off work. Like last Sunday and this Sunday and yesterday, actually. Oh, that's why it's cold outside. If you've been outside lately, it's cold because I'm off work. Can't believe it. Good day, everybody, and welcome to another great episode of Conversations with Edigga. I am the man that you all know and love, Edigga. Yes. And today, great people, before I start, I want to send a super shout out to our sister station, of course, WLEO 26.7 online radio, worldwide listening, entertainment online. Make sure you go there. WLEO 267 onlineradio.com for all of your great music, gospel, R&B, rap, you name it. We got it on there. Some great shows and DJs on the ones and twos. Get your work week started. Get that cookout started because it's hot. It's getting hot. I was looking at my man, my special guest. He in there on the ones and twos already. Before I start, I just wanted to mention one thing. Parents, I had sent out a post about this broadcast. If you have kids, if you have little ones or teenagers, you might want to grab them now and sit back and look at this special broadcast because it involves teenagers. It involves our youth of today. I live in Baltimore. I've been living here all my life, and some of the things that I have seen in Baltimore is just fascinating. It's amazing and it's fascinating with this generation. And I can remember as a little boy growing up, some of the things that this new generation is doing right now. I don't think being raised by my mom, I don't think some of that stuff that the youth of today is doing right now, I wouldn't be alive because one, my mother would just smack the soul out of me. You see what I'm saying? And I know what a lot of kids are going to say once they watch this. A lot of parents are if you're fortunate to watch this, you know, that was then, this is now. You know, I'm hearing that a lot. This you lived your life, you lived your generation, y'all did y'all thing, but now it's us. But I do need to say this. First and foremost, you know, you're gonna do what you do. There's no rule of completely stopping the idiocy that y'all doing, if idiocy is a word. I don't know if I just made that up, but some of the stuff that these young people are doing is just out of control. It is just out of control. I'm going to bring in my special guest. He is the host of Access Granted. I'm going to bring him in. My brother, Mr. Antoine Grant. How are you today, sir?
Digga, I'm good, bro. Thanks for having me as always, man. It's always a pleasure to chop it up with you, bro.
Hey, man, it's always a pleasure to be in your presence. You have inspired me. You have um, You have inspired me to do both media and radio and
Ah,
media, live stream, all that. You were very instrumental in introducing all of this to me, and it's only right that I bring you on and get your viewpoints on this topic because I think we are the same, kind of like close to the same age. And
I think I got you by like 10 years, dude.
okay,
I'm 54, bro. I'm 54.
stop playing, man.
Nah, for real.
Now
December the 4th, 1969, baby. Yeah.
stop playing.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's why I said I think I got you by some double digits, bro.
right. I just turned, well, I'm 50. I'll be 51
Okay.
this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know how y'all saying it, so it's the 50 or the
Yeah. It's one or the other.
right.
But I wanted to bring you on. First and foremost, thank you for coming on
Absolutely. Thank
and
you.
and sharing your expertise as a parent. Um and I'm gonna show this video, and you saw it just a few minutes ago, um, of the generation now, Generation X, as they call them, and some of the things that I have seen, and I know, of course, you have seen, uh, them do, you know, and what prompted me to do this show is because of this video that I'm gonna show you. I don't really understand. I'm not going to sit here and try to sugarcoat it and say I do not understand this generation. Now, when you and I were growing up, we did some stuff.
Absolutely.
We did some
Absolutely.
stuff as you know, generations before me, generations before them did some
Right.
things. But
Right.
some of the things that I'm seeing, hearing, looking at, observing, having the ability to look at is just I sometimes, Antoine, like scratch my head like, what in the blue hell is this?
And it's hard for us, Digga, as 50 plus year olds,
Right,
man, to not sound like well, back in my day, we didn't. It's hard, but you have to, man.
right,
I Some of the stuff I see, bro, I'm just speechless, bro. Like even this video that you're about to show. If you want to go ahead and get into the video, you can, man, and we can talk. But
right.
I'm just like, it's crazy, bro.
Now I'm gonna just set the scene for a lot of people who is watching from out of state. Like I said, um, Antoine and myself, born and raised in Baltimore. Um, the scene that you're about to see takes place in a mall, a very popular mall here in Baltimore called Towson. At one time, Towson to me was very prominent, and it still is. I mean,
Yeah,
going to Towson for me as a little boy growing up or a
yeah,
teenager growing up was a
yeah. Already,
privilege.
yeah,
Right. It was a privilege. Like, a lot of people you see, you hear about Mondawmin, you hear about Security Mall, you hear about Town Mall, which we went to yesterday. My wife and I, it was dead as hell.
oh yeah.
And yeah,
Sounds
it
like
was a
East Point.
shame.
Sounds
Right.
like East Point.
Yes, East Point, dead as hell. Anywho, going to Towson was a treat, because of the it was just the atmosphere. It was a different atmosphere going there and looking around. But then as of late, when I was in high school, they was beating people up at Towson. You couldn't go to Towson.
In the mall.
Yeah, you couldn't go to Towson Mall.
Wow.
Like if you go there, you had a group of guys, they were beating people up, and I said, "What happened?" Now you come to this. Now you come to this, and just to set the scene, the scene the clip you're about to see happens in Towson Mall in Macy's. There's a huge part in Towson Mall called Macy's. And what happened was there was a fight. It was circulated through text message, and they said if you want to see this fight, you got to come to Towson. You got to come to Macy's to see this fight. Now, for some reason, the fight happened outside, and it made its way into Towson Mall, into Macy's. So, without further ado,
Unbelievable.
Right, unbelievable. Here it is.
Bro.
Oh my goodness. This is Maryland, Baltimore. Oh, look. Let's get ready to rumble. Wow.
Stealing shit.
No, I think it's a fight. I think it's a fight because there's a group over there coming this way, and then there's another group that way. I think it's a Royal Rumble. Hey, what happened? What happened?
We don't know what happened.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, I didn't play all of it, but I want you to see that part. And the commentator didn't make it any better. I mean,
Wow.
he's just amused. He is laughing. He was like, Baltimore, let's get ready to rumble. He wasn't making it no better. But the last part, I wanted to get people's reaction. Like, what happened? I don't know what happened. And puts the camera. Yeah. So that happened in Towson Mall. Last week, last Friday, I want to say. And there was this huge, and I wish I could find the post because my wife posted it on her page. I wish I could find it, but it was a mass text message that says somebody was fighting, link up at Towson Mall. And of course, it happened outside and they brought it inside. And you would have thought that something was going on as far as like a tornado or earthquake or something like that. No, there's two people fighting. If you want to see this fight, come over to Towson Mall in Macy's and act a donkey, So yeah. So and that right there, like I high school for me, and I went to Douglas. High School. And of course, Mondawmin is right across the street from Douglas High School.
Yeah.
And there were some times that, the upperclassmen, they went over for lunch and, things of that nature. And I'm not sitting here saying that, during my generation, we didn't do anything. Please understand that. We did our fair share of stuff, But the magnitude of this is beyond me. Like I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and I wanted some young people to come on. Of course, young people ain't coming on to.
I don't want to come talk about that.
No, they ain't talking about that. So
But
I get it.
You know what, Dig? As I was watching that, and I was thinking about or listening to you talk about the fact that there was like a mass text or something that went out.
Right.
It made me think back to the Freddie Gray riots because, from my understanding, that was a blast that went out on social media.
Right.
after all of the stuff that went down with the cops that got off.
Right.
And, we all know how that ended.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, as I'm watching these young people, I'm going to be nice. As I'm watching these young people, in Macy's acting a fool, one thing that stood out to me was the 3 little girls that acted like they wanted to run, but then they kept going back towards.
Right.
We don't do that. We don't do that. That's
right.
That's other people in movies. We don't do that. We don't run to the scene. we don't run to the scene of where it's going on at, man. But bro, it's just because I know how black people think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking to myself, what happens if that gets totally out of control? What happens if there's a weapon involved?
Mm-hmm.
And then the police have to do what police do.
Right.
And
because they ain't thinking. Police
Right.
ain't thinking no more. It's
Right.
like weapon.
Right.
Ah.
Right. So if one or more of those young black people end up dead,
Right.
As a result of whatever that was,
Right.
then we ready to riot again because the police are. But then you're going to ask yourself, why were your kids there?
Right.
Why
Right.
were your kids there?
And speaking of, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I was just going to say, with both of us, and we've had, private conversations about parenting and all of that stuff, with both of our kids being 20 plus. It almost seems like no matter how much you instill in them, the right things to do, that force called social media, that force called rap music, and whatever other forces that they're dealing with today trumps us like crazy because they would rather, I'm not going to say all of them, a lot of them would rather be a part of the nonsense like that.
Right.
And I'm just thinking to myself, as I'm watching the video, I'm trying to put myself in a teenage mind. If I get that text message, I'm not going to the mall, bro.
Right. But you said it. It's like that big influence called social media.
That pull, bro.
And
that
also friends. Like, oh man, you're a punk. You ain't coming. Oh man, forget you. I understand because I was there. I wasn't at Towson, but I was there.
Right. You've been that, right?
Right. I've been there. Throughout high school, and I know how that feels. But when does a little bell in your head go off, or a little light bulb in your head go off when you're seeing the news and cops and what you just said? It'll start another riot if one of them would have got hurt. So let me paint another picture.
And their mamas would have been, hey,
Front and center. But why are your baby there?
Right.
That's the question. Mothers would have been,
Oh, you already know. You already know.
So why are your baby there? In Towson Mall, knowing that they supposed to been in school, what have you? Why is he or she there?
School hours.
It was during school hours.
Makes it even worse.
Right.
That makes it even worse.
Right. So and it's crazy because a lot of parents are scared of their kids.
Yeah.
There's a great number of parents that are scared. I said this to my son on 2 occasions, when he was little and when he got a little bigger. I will fuck you up in this house. I will kill you in this house. Yeah. Try me if you want.
Yeah.
But
I wanna piggyback on something that you said, because you were like, yo, when does the bell go off? Ding. And as soon as you said that, it made me think back to me growing up as a teenager in Baltimore. We had these nice housing facilities downtown. One was called Lexington Terrace. One was called Murphy Homes.
Oh yeah.
And you knew that every weekend, every Easter, every 4th of July, any of those times, especially in the summertime, that if you were in the downtown vicinity, they was going to be rolling. And they was going to be 25, 30. They were going to be combined. So it might have been 25 or 30 from each tower. And there was something in me that just said, bro, I don't need to go downtown for Easter. I don't need to go down the harbor, because the harbor was the thing back then where everybody wanted to go. Bro, I'm not going down there. I don't care how many I'm taking with me. I'm not going down there because I know we're going to be highly outnumbered. You know what I mean? And I just don't want to, be involved in all of that nonsense that I know is gonna be going on.
Exactly.
So you can call me a punk. You can call me what you want to, because I know I'm not. But it's sometimes we gotta think with our heads and just be like, yo, it's better to avoid situations that you know. You know what I mean? If you know that if you stand on a train track and the train is gonna come, eventually your ass is gonna get hit by the train, get off the train track.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you know that and it might be about 4 or 5 of y'all are going to be down the harbor at that time, or circulating somewhere, Crazy John's or wherever you might be downtown.
Right.
You know that there's a possibility that you're going to run into these dudes. So why do it? Now, don't get me wrong, because there have been times when me and my boys, we've been downtown. We've had run-ins. I've had 2 run-ins with the Murphy Holmes people. The first one was coming from a wrestling match, and they caught us on Utah and Saratoga Street, right under the Silver Building. We were sitting on the wall waiting for the 19 to go back up top, and they caught us, and we thought that we were going to get out of the situation because we knew one of the dudes.
Right.
And he was supposed to give us that pass. Nah, yo, they cool, let them go.
Right.
But apparently he wasn't high enough up in the food chain, because they didn't pay no attention to what he was saying. And the first punch got thrown. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna be honest with you, we got out of there scot-free, no scratches. I think my boy might have lost his starter hat.
Right. Right.
And then we had another situation with them messing around with these girls back in the day. We lived over west, they lived over east. They came to see us. We went to take them home, or not take them home, get on the bus with them to go home. And we were downtown by Hopkins Plaza.
Right.
And after they got on whatever bus, I think it was the 13 or something to go east, we started walking back up to that same bus stop.
Right.
And as we get to that corner right there where the arena is, we hear some Negroes say, yo, ain't those the niggas that jumped your cousin? Yeah. We knew we hadn't jumped nobody's cousin, but we knew what was about to go down. So we tried our best to make it up to that corner so that we could bend that right and run, but they kind of populated on us real fast. Fortunately, one of the dudes' grandmothers lived around the corner from us.
Okay.
And he was there on a regular basis, and he knew that if he didn't shut that down, you wasn't coming to see grandma no more, because the next time you came to see grandma, it was going to be a problem. But he did what the other guy was supposed to do. Nah, bro, they cool, let them go. But I'm saying all of that to say, you can see a mob of 30, 40 niggas coming and be smart enough to go the opposite way. You know what I'm saying? Or just whatever. But
or the area.
Exactly.
And know the detours. Of the area.
I know downtown like the back of my hand, bro. I can get I can get away from the police downtown. I really could.
Right.
I really could.
It was an apartment complex over by Calverton. And this really tells my age right here. It was an apartment complex called Winchester Apartment.
Yeah, Winchester.
Oh yeah. And a couple of friends, we had met this other dude, real cool. One day and back then, how you could get somebody is talk about video games. You know. So we walk in, it was about, I say like 6 of us, and we just met him. He was like, "Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing?" Didn't know him from a can of paint, but he was cool. So we walking one day, walking home from school, And we was like, he met up with us, was like, hey y'all, I got this video game. Now the video game just came out. None of us had it, but he had it. So I'm like, damn, I would love to see this video game, you know. But the way
You got
how
Atari?
right,
I
the
got
way where
Atari.
he lived, we had to go past Winchester Apartments.
Mm.
Now we, the six of us, knew, hey yo, we gotta walk through Winchester Apartments. We trying to get away from Winchester Apartments, but he lived like in the back of Winchester Apartments or something like that. So we walking, hey man, you play it, you do this and do. Come a hole was the setup the whole time. Because the way
Oh,
how like I said, the way how we was going to take to get around Winchester Apartments, he was like, "No, man, my house live right in the back of Winchester Apartments, yo. You go here and you right there." And I'm like, the whole time, I'm like, something ain't right. Something ain't right. So I left. I branched off and I took the detour because I like video games, but I ain't like them that much.
right. Not to get your ass whipped.
Right. So I'm peeping him. He cool and all, but you ain't that cool, you know? So I said, hey, look, I'm gonna take this detour. I see y'all on Monday because it happened on a Friday. And we all know Friday, for some reason, Friday was the day.
Yeah.
Friday was the day that everything went down. Come a whole, they still walking with dude, right? Hey, Ernest, come on, yo. Come on, yo. I said, nah, man, I gotta go home anyway. Saturday morning, I get a call from my boy, a part of the six of us. Yo, that MF, yo, he set us up. I said, what did I tell you?
Mm.
I said, what did I tell you? I said it was a setup because way he lived, like I say, he kept stressing. He was like, yo, I live in the back of Winchester Apartments. He kept saying it. I live in the back of Winchester Apartments. Not one time did he say, well, let's go around your way and y'all could go to my house. No, we got to go through Winchester Apartments to get to my house.
Ding.
Light bulb. Everybody else light bulb was off. Mine was definitely on. But if I was to say something like, and I kept telling him, I said, yo, it's a setup, you know, but I say that to say this. It's like sometimes you just got to think for yourself. Is it worth it? You know, you going over there to Towson to watch a fight, and then all of a sudden something else go down. I saw one cop. I ain't see no more cops. And what if that one cop was like the trigger happy cop? You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta think, is this fight really important to watch?
Has it been said what school they were from or school? Well, I'm assuming it's probably more than one school now that I
Right.
asked the question.
They didn't say.
Um,
They didn't say which school.
city or county?
They didn't say.
Because
They
I'm
didn't
like,
say.
if I'm in a city school and I get that message, I'm damn sure not catching the bus all the way out Towson just to
All
see
the
a
way
fight.
on the east side. If you on the west side, right. If you on the west side, I know about that. If I'm on the west side and I gotta come all the way over to the east side just to see a goddamn fight, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't get it. And like I said, that takes me back to the riots, man, and
Right.
just the way, you know, one blast on Twitter or one
Right.
blast on Instagram can literally have 200-300 young people showing up, and there's nothing good that's going to come out of that. You know what I
Right.
mean? And again, we see how the riots ended up. You know, with the
And speaking
burning.
of and speaking of the
But
riots, I was able to pull this clip up. Now here you go.
oh,
And we
oh,
really need to have more parents like this.
Video shows what appears to be an angry, embarrassed mother taking out some frustration on her teenage son after discovering he was one of the troublemakers in Baltimore. Take a look. Well, you can hear the woman shout, "And know that's you," before she rips off the teenager's mask. This video, as you can imagine, is getting a lot of attention online. Baltimore's police commission even took notice.
And if you saw on one scene, you had one mother who grabbed their child who had a hood on his head, and she started smacking him on the head because she was so embarrassed. I wish I had more parents that took charge of the kids out there tonight.
All of this, of course, came just hours after the funeral.
There you go, right there.
You know they threatened to press charges on her for child abuse.
Oh
for
yeah.
And I'm glad that they didn't. I'm glad that they didn't. And it's funny that you showed that because I drive past Mondawmin all the time, and every time I ride past there, I glance over and I'd be like, "Yo, that's where the mom was whipping her son."
Right, whipping his ass.
I wonder. I've always wondered how that young man turned out, and like what's going on with the mom.
Well, as of late, before I downloaded this video, it was another video that say that he's 20. Well, I don't know how old it was, but he's 25 now. His life was turned around just by that incident right there, you know, because moms wasn't having it.
Moms wasn't.
She said, "You will not embarrass me."
And you can imagine the ridicule he took from his boys.
Oh yeah.
From his boys after that. But hey,
yo,
you know
your
what?
moms came up here with your ass, yo. Hey,
yo, you ever see the movie New Jersey Drive, yo?
Yeah, yo.
When the mom smacked the and his boys started wilding on her like, "Yo, why your mom so violent, yo?"
But
hey,
you know,
Mom, why you gotta be blowing up the spot? Why you gotta be blowing up the spot?
Right.
We need mothers to blow up the spot. We need fathers to blow up the spot. Like,
right.
We need that.
We need that. And I, you know, when I watched that, I was clapping.
Yeah.
I was clapping. Yeah. I was like, hey, we need more parents like that. We need more parents to stop being scared of their kids and to pull them out of situations like that. Now, another thing that I did not see at Towson was parents.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And half of the time, Antoine, parents don't even know where the hell their kids are at.
I guarantee you 90% of those parents didn't know that those
did not know.
I guarantee it.
You know, we got parents that want to be your kid's friend. You know, it's okay to bond with you. I bond with my son. I bond with my son. I am not my son's friend. You know, and that's the difference. You know, I'll be damned if I'll be scared of my son or my daughter. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem. A lot of parents are scared of their children. To say that.
Go ahead.
To say that, well, they have their own mind, and no, no, I'm sorry, it don't work like that. You're the parent, they're the child.
Yeah, I keep thinking back to what would have happened if one of those children would have gotten seriously injured or ended up dead. And
right.
As I'm watching the video, I keep having my own mindset of like being a private business owner. So imagine you're a private business owner. Mm-hmm. These kids come up in your store and they start going crazy.
Right.
Like that. I feel like I have the right to protect my business by all means necessary.
Thank you.
I feel like I got the right to be Malcolm X looking out the window.
Right.
when you come, and if you come up and that's the thing that these kids don't think about, man. Like when that riot, when the riots was going on, people don't realize that 7-Elevens are privately owned stores.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the people, you know, the people that work there, but there's an owner, a private owner that owns 7-Eleven, you
Right.
know, because you franchise it, and once you know, you pay whatever, that's your store.
Mm-hmm.
It's just under the 7-Eleven name.
Right.
And I remember when the riots were going on, that 7-Eleven right on the intersection of Liberty Heights and Tioga Parkway,
Right. Right.
across the street from the back, and
Right.
actually a block up from where she was
Right.
beating her son.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
they tried to run up in there,
Mm-hmm.
and the store owner pulled out. He was like, "No, y'all
You're
not
not
coming
coming
up
in
in
here.
here with that.
Right.
You're not coming up in here with that." You know, because they were coming in the loot. They
Mm-hmm.
were coming in to, you know, get whatever they could, just to snatch and grab and be up out of there. And the owner was like, "No, bro, y'all might not leave what y'all want to leave with if y'all come in my store. I'm telling you."
Right.
And that generation seems to have so much of a sense of invincibility, like it can't
Mm.
happen to me.
Right.
Not understanding that when you cross the wrong one, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Ain't no talking about it. Ain't no,
And again, if one of those kids would have went up in that store and that gun and that I keep wanting to say gun owner, the store owner would have put a hot one in one,
right.
the mother,
Mm-hmm.
the father, the
Mm-hmm.
family, the friends
Been all on the news
would have
crying.
been, you know what I mean, acting a fool,
Right.
ready to go up in 7-Eleven and you know, protesting. Why did my son have to
Right.
die? Such and such and such and such.
Right. Why
And these
was
are
your
the
why
lessons,
was your child in the 7-Eleven stealing in the first place?
and these are the lessons that I know you tried to instill in yours. These are the lessons that I've tried to instill in mine. The company that you keep is a very impactful.
Right.
It has a lot of impact whether you realize it or not.
Right.
My son, with the situation that I just told you that he went through,
Right.
and I can say it publicly. My son got shot because enough people know now. The bullet wasn't intended for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? His friend got into an argument with somebody. The dudes left, and they came back shooting.
Mm.
So now my son is sitting up with no use of his right arm. You know, total reconstruction of his elbow.
Wow.
Because you chose to be around someone that we stopped asking you to be around, in a neighborhood where we've asked you to stop hanging.
Mm-hmm.
You're a witness because we rode past them one
Exactly.
time when I was taking you home from
Exactly.
Chilbino shoot that day.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know what the attraction is, bro. Like, and don't get me wrong, my generation, we stayed outside. We didn't
Yeah.
sit in the house playing video games, watching YouTube and all of that stuff. And
that was
especially
it. That was a
time,
treat.
we were outside.
Right.
We were outside doing the right thing. And for my age, when I was like 14, 15 years old,
Right.
we had 18, 19, 20-year-old dudes in the neighborhood that were like, yo, y'all not gonna be out here running around acting a fool. You know what I'm saying? If outsiders, like if people from other blocks, if people from other neighborhoods tried to come around our way starting stuff, our OGs was hopping in like, y'all not
Right.
bringing that around here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Y'all
Right.
y'all can come y'all can come up with Liberty Heights and Garrison with a problem if you want to. You're gonna get what you want. But
Right.
they also made sure that we did the things that we were supposed to do and wasn't out here being stupid. I remember calling a girl the B word because she pissed me off one day. And one of the older dudes, bro, hit me in my chest. It took me like 3 weeks to get my win back.
Mm.
And he was like, bro, don't call her what you don't want nobody calling your mother.
Right.
And he made me go apologize to her.
Right.
You know, he made me go apologize. He had me like this, bro, walking me around the corner. Went to her house up on the porch. Mother answered the door. He need to see your daughter. He made me apologize, bro. We don't have that no more.
Definitely don't have that no more. And I can identify with that because I remember times, they were drug dealers,
Yeah.
and drug dealers, when they saw kids, when they saw parents and mothers, they went the other way.
The
They
other
was like,
way.
"No, no, go, come on,
The
let's
other
go
way.
around the corner," or they went the other way. Now it's out in the open. You see what I'm saying? They don't care no more. And these kids today, when you tell them that, or when we have these conversations, the first thing coming to, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
I'm a person like this, Antoine. I'm the type that I'm gonna tell you once, but I need you to become a believer.
Mm.
I'm a believer type of person. I'm a person, and I know a lot of people say, "Well, damn, they got experiences." Yes, because
Yeah.
whatever I'm telling you from experience,
Yeah.
and you still don't believe, I've been here before you. I've lived here before you. While you were swimming in your father's nutsack, I was here. You see what I'm saying? So how dare you look at me and say I don't know what I'm talking about when I was here before you?
Yeah.
You wasn't even thought of. And that's the audacity for these kids, this Generation X, to look at me and say, you don't know what you're talking about. What the fuck? I was here. I lived it. I did it. And they
Yeah.
have this thing where, oh yeah, 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 we did it first. No, coon, you did it.
Yeah.
We did it 5 times over. What y'all doing right now? We have done it. It's old.
Yeah.
Y'all
The
ain't
one.
doing nothing new.
Yeah. The one thing that I've had to learn, Dig, and like with when I was back doing like the bro code Baltimore and all of that kind of stuff.
Right, right,
The one thing that I had to learn is that a lot of the young people will listen. It's just the way that you communicate with them.
right, right,
And I've seen situations where our generation, older generation, they go to the younger generation to try to talk to them, and they want to talk at them. They want to point the finger. They want to say, "No, no, 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 no. You better not." Da 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 da.
right, right,
And
right.
that's not the way
Right,
to communicate with them. And I understand that because I don't like being talked at. I don't like when I feel like somebody's talking at me like I'm stupid
right.
or that they're above me. That
Okay.
that drives me that drives me crazy. I've lost jobs over stuff like that.
Right.
So, in my years, especially over the last 10 years now, because when I started Baltimore Flavor Radio back in 2014, that was kind of the time when I started being out in the community more. Um, I've gotten to learn. I've gotten to learn that, and I feel like it's received better, even if it's not listened to.
Hmm.
And there's a difference between hearing and listening. You can hear a person, and don't necessarily listen to them.
Right,
You can hear a song on the radio. If it's a song that you don't like, you're not going to listen to it, but you,
right,
you you hear it. You know that it's there.
right,
Um, the way that we approach a lot of the young people, they hear us, but they don't listen because of the way that we approach. I've even had to approach the way that I've talked to my son
mm,
at times.
okay,
Um, Total transparency, and I think I've talked to you before. My son has been to over 30 funerals
mm,
since he graduated from high school.
wow,
Son's getting ready to turn 26, so you're talking 8 years. He's been over 30, probably closer to 40 funerals since he's been out of high school.
right,
There's a lot of trauma there.
hmm,
There's a lot of mental health. There's a lot of PTSD. There's a lot of depression. There's a lot of stuff that a lot of these kids deal with. You know
right,
what I mean?
right,
And then I have to remember the fact that a lot of these kids are raised by kids.
Mm.
You know what I mean? There's a picture that was circulating. I don't know if you saw it on Facebook and Instagram recently. And the caption says that a toxic mother is worse than an absent father. And it's a young girl. She couldn't have been no more than 20 something. She had a little girl. They were dressed alike, and both of them were posing, giving the finger.
Mm.
This is what she's teaching. This is what she's teaching her child. I've been in a store in numerous places around Baltimore and hear the way that mothers talk to their kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All the time.
Total cussing out a 5-6-year-old like she 25.
But let that child start cussing.
That part.
And that's all they hear.
Right. That's all they hear. All a lot of these kids are doing is repeating what they hear and doing what they see.
Right.
We can't fault them for that because that's the way we are as children. Right. Children are sponges. We soak everything up.
Right.
Like the first 10 years of our lives, we soak everything up.
Everything.
And if it's our mother, our father, our grandmother, uncles, or whoever that's doing it, we feel like it's good because, hey, these are all of the people that love me. These are the people that I love. If they're doing it, it has to be right.
Right.
It has to be right. It has to be okay to stand on the corner smoking weed and drinking a 40. It has to be right to cuss every other word. You know what I mean? It has to be right to, if my mother's walking around with her ass out,
it got
as
to
soon
be
as it
right.
turns 65 degrees, then it's got to be right. It's got to be right.
Right.
So I love the topic. Where did we go wrong? I don't know. And every time I ask myself that question, I don't have an answer.
Right.
And that's the sad part.
Right.
I do believe that our generation may have failed the generation after us a little bit because I feel like our generation is the ones that started wanting to be friends with our kids. Our generation was the time where you couldn't beat your kid because your kid could press charges and all kind of stuff like that.
Right.
And,
Child protective services, all
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Our generation was the ones that wasn't coming to the PTA meetings at school. So we didn't know what the hell was going on with schools.
Right.
We weren't checking in on our kids grades wise, and everything. Now you have no excuse because you can sit down at the computer, type in 10 keystrokes, and you can see everything that your kid is doing or not doing in school.
Right.
But we didn't have that, during our time. So I want to say that it started with us, but for us, it was a piece of snow about this big, and then the next generation, this just turned into an avalanche, bro.
Right.
And it's gotten worse. And it's sad that stuff like the video that you showed at the beginning is like the norm. Every year about this time, Digga, I start thinking to myself, damn, it's about to get hot. Baltimore is about to be off the chain.
It's about to be lit.
Yeah.
My mom, God rest her soul. My mom did not play Antoine. My mom, and I said at an early age, when I decide to have children, I'm not going to be as strict as my mom. My mom was strict. My mom put the S in strict.
The STRIC.
Right. And
Everything but
it's
the T.
funny. Right. My mom every Saturday during the summer, and I still have this thought to this day. It's so funny. I was just thinking about this a couple weeks ago. When it was hot outside, most kids do what? They just walk outside and go play and do whatever. Not my mom. Not my mom. I was sitting there for a minute, and I'm talking, it's like 12, 1, 2, and I'm looking at the time. I'm like, but then as an adult, I can understand because during that time, it's hot as hell outside.
Right.
So in
Blazing.
my mom's head, it's like I'm gonna wait till it cool off.
Mm.
You know, you ain't gonna be going out there getting burnt up by that sun. Cause I know how you are. You're gonna run up and down the street,
Mhm.
start sweating, pass the hell out. But I wasn't thinking like that as a child.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be outside.
Yeah.
Cause that was the thing.
Yeah. And now they want to be outside in that weather with hoodies. But that's another story.
That's another podcast.
That's another show altogether.
My mom would look at me, give me this look, and say, "Go ahead." But before I left, I had to comb my hair, make sure my clothes was decent,
Mm.
because I am a direct reflection
Oh,
of her.
yeah.
I couldn't go certain places. All kids, they all around Baltimore. They downtown by that time.
Mm.
I could not leave the step. I couldn't leave the step. It was a playground right in the back of me on Lafayette, where the Lafayette Bridge at.
Mm-hmm.
There was a playground. It was a basketball court and a playground. Everybody and their mama was on this playground, not Ernest.
Mm.
And it was crazy because when I went outside, everybody in the block came outside. It was almost like, he out. Let's go. And that was cool. And I told him, I said, yo, I can't leave the steps. Yeah, we know, we know. I was like, y'all gotta keep it down. You know how my mother is. That was my mom. That was my mom. Later on, I said thank you for that.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? To this day, now when my son was little, he goes outside and play. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't, oh, Dad, can I go outside? It was like, yeah, you go outside, you know. It came right back in the house because I said I was not going to teach or be strict, hard strict,
Mm-hmm.
like my mom was with me. You know?
Yeah.
But that was my mom. I can't say the rest for everybody's mom. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But doing that gave me some type of responsibility almost.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, you're not going to go out here all willy-nilly. When you do go out here, you're representing me. You're not going to act crazy and wild because you are a direct reflection of me. You're my child. You're not going out there doing God knows what, God knows when, God knows how. When it's time to come back in this house, it's time to come back in this house. And I respected that.
And we carried that on, once we became parents to a degree, maybe not as strict.
Right.
But the world that our moms were sending us out to is a totally different world than what we've been sending our kids out to.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like you said, we did stuff back then. And I grew up in the crack era, bro. You know how the world changed, but specifically Baltimore changed once New Jack City came out, bro. The world got a little bit different, you know what I mean? And the city started looking different to me at that point, because I would go certain places in the city and see people, and I thought I was in like the Michael Jackson Thriller video, because it was like zombies walking around. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, and that's one thing I try to tell my son. My son is 25, get ready to turn 26.
Right.
And I guess now it's heroin and fentanyl and Lord knows whatever, all this other stuff that they're on. I try to tell my son, like, bro, we grew up in the crack era, bro. You don't realize how the world changed when the crack era hit and Ronald Reagan was in office in the White House. We ain't getting no love, bro. It was no holds barred at that point.
Zero.
Bro. And like, I probably lived in just about every part of Baltimore that you can live in, north, south,
Right.
east, west, blah, blah, blah. I've lived in projects. I've lived in hoods. But I consider myself to be in that area from Liberty Heights and Garrison to Walbrook Junction, because that's where I spent the majority of my years. And
Right.
the people that's really in my close circle are all from that area.
Right.
And the neighborhood that we were in, which is Woodhaven Avenue off of Garrison Boulevard, is what I would consider to be middle to upper middle. There were
Okay.
a lot of good working families, a lot of fathers in the home. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Even though my sperm donor wasn't there, but there were, fathers in a lot of homes around there.
Right.
And
Right.
so there wasn't a reason for my mother to like fear me going outside and being around in the neighborhood,
Right.
because believe it or not, we did have that village mentality where if you went on another block and acted a fool, somebody's parent was jacking you up.
And that's the thing.
Somebody's parent might have whipped your ass,
Right.
and then they was going to send you home for one.
Right.
My mother
So that
wasn't
was
strict.
two ass whippings that
At least.
yeah.
My mother wasn't strict. My mother wasn't a whipper, but my mother only had to really say 2 words to me to get me in check. Those 2 words are Uncle Peanut.
Okay.
Rest in peace to my Uncle Peanut, because just the mention of his name when I knew that I was doing wrong, put the fear of God in him. Put the fear of God in him.
It was the same for me because my
Yeah.
dad, he wasn't around. He was not in the home, but I knew who my father was. I spent time with my father. But even when she started, she was like, "All right, I'm gonna tell your father
Mm.
I'm going to see him Friday, and by that time he's going to forget."
Mm.
So I'm smart, I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, tell him. It's not like he's going to drive all the way over here and whip my ass.
Right.
My father
Right.
wasn't the whipper. My mom was. So when she said that, it was like, he ain't gonna touch me. I'm like you. My 2 words for me, or well, 3 words. Your brother David.
Mm. Big
My
brother.
big brother David.
Big
Rest
brother.
in peace. If it was anybody, now I'm the baby of 5.
Oh.
If it was anybody that I was scared of,
Mm.
it was him.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It was this look. All she said, and she got slick with it one day. She said, "I'm gonna tell David."
Mm.
Not David.
Yeah.
What about Dad? No.
No, because she knew Dad was going to forget about it by the
Yeah, he
time
was gonna forget about it, and he wasn't the whipper.
Right.
Oh yeah. Now David wasn't the whipper either, but it was this look, and plus he's bigger than me, and I'm like, damn, why would you do that?
See, Uncle Peanut never forgot. So I could do something in April.
Mm,
My mom would tell Uncle Peanut, I might not see Uncle Peanut till June. And as soon as I see Uncle Peanut, you remember when, this dude was like 6'2", 230, solid, ex-military, knew karate. He used to have me over when I used to go over his house when he stayed with my grandmother over off of York Road. He got me. Now at this point, I'm 4 foot nothing, about 35 pounds. He got me out there trying to break bricks with my hands and all this kind of stuff. I'm walking around half the summer like this. You can't say no to Uncle Peanut, because if you say no, Uncle Peanut, you know what I mean?
right.
That was my fear factor. That was my
David. Like I said, David wasn't the whipper. He's not gonna touch me. He'll probably jack me up. That's the most contact I will get from David. But
But that was enough.
it was right. That was enough. It was his presence, and he's big. So I'm like, how can you compete with that?
Right.
He was other than my other brother Timmy, and he ain't gonna do nothing. And I'm like I said, Antoine, I'm smart. I'm thinking this out. I'm like, all right, my father, he's not going to beat me. He's not going to say nothing to me. He was like, boy, all right, you know, Timmy is not going to say anything. Kim, she tried it with Kim, my sister. That didn't work. So she's just running down the process, process of elimination. It's like,
Right.
who can I say that this little nigga would be scared of? And she did it, David. So I ain't think about David. That nigga big. You see what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this, Dig, because that's right. Parents no longer have.
Oh, I got a comment. I turned it off the screen.
Shout out to MC Ebony.
Yes.
We gotta call her MC Ebony now.
That is right there.
No, but
no longer have
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Dig. Because again, we've talked many times about our trials and tribulations of raising our sons in Baltimore. You know what I mean? And to me, raising a son in Baltimore, raising a son in Philly, raising a son in Chicago, those cities, these cities like this is a total. It's a different challenge than raising your son in Carroll County. No disrespect to Carroll County, but knowing that we don't want to be that parent that is too strict. We don't want to be that parent that's a friend, but then we don't want to be that parent that your mom was, where you can't go off the stoop.
Right.
How have you been able to find that balance? With raising your son.
I found the balance with my son by talking to him and telling him to place himself in the situations that he see. If this was you, this now, like I said, Antoine, at the beginning of the show, I'm a person of, I need you to become a believer.
All right.
I'm the type of person that's talk is cheap. And I want you to put yourself in these situations. What if this was you? And that's the conversations that me and my son had. Like, my son was doing horrible in school. It was every day I was getting a phone call, like, your son doing this, your son doing, and it wasn't behavior, it was grade wise. You see what I'm saying? Because he wasn't applying himself. So I like I said, I'm the type of person, I need you to see what's going to happen if. Because I could tell you all day how I did it, how they did it, how that person did it. I can say that all day long. But I'm the type of person, I'm a person of, I need you to see what's going to happen.
Or I can show you better than I can tell you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I am that person.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because I believe that people really do not fully understand until, God forbid, if it happens to them. That's where I'm at. And that's what I reiterated to my son when he was having trouble in school. I said, hey, what if you don't make it? What if you see all of these kids doing whatever, God knows what, and place yourself in that situation? How are you going to work yourself out of that situation? That was the conversations that I had with my son.
What if you go to the mall to see a fight?
Right. And then you get stampeded.
Right.
You get trampled. Right. Cop come out, start blasting off tear gas or whatever, or just get trigger happy and start popping y'all off. What's going to happen? You know, I was that parent. It was plenty of nights where I, sat and talked to my son and told him, you can do this, that, and the third, but what's going to happen? So I think a lot of parents, and this is just me, they're not talking to their children, or they're not, in my case, they're not telling these kids, you're not, they are not instilling in these children like this could happen to you and make them a believer.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I tried. I've definitely had that conversation that this could be you, the what if conversation.
Right.
And sometimes as human beings, bro, we just got to learn the hard way.
Right.
We just gotta,
And like I said, I'm that person. I need you to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
was so crazy because one day I said it got so bad. I said, what if I lose my job?
Yeah.
And I pretended like I lost my job. And my son was scared. He was scared. I've faked eviction notices. I faked
you went hard.
Yeah, I went hard.
Wow.
And I said, I think one day when he came to see me, I had put some stuff in boxes and had it in the living room.
Wow.
And he had came over. Yeah, and I had marked on, I said living room, shelter. I put shelter on one box. And he looked and he said, Dad, are you going to live in the shelter? I said, yeah, because I don't have nowhere else to go. And I had fake eviction notices. I had post, like when he went to sleep, I had posted the eviction notice on the door. And when I opened up the door,
you got an evil mind, bro.
And that was my way of getting, this is what's going to happen. I couldn't think of nothing else. Talking at that point was like going in one ear and out the other. So I had put little papers. I had mailed myself letters, and it was crazy. It was crazy, but he got the picture though. He got it.
Now I have asked my son before, what would you do if me and your mother were no longer here?
Wow.
Like if we, God forbid, we were going somewhere, car accident, we were no longer here.
Right.
And the look on his face, bro, was about as blank as the space that's up above us right here. It was just, and I think the thing that scares me the most, Digga, is this generation that we've been talking about. This generation, those kids that were running through that store at the beginning of the show. They're about to have kids and have to raise a generation.
Right.
And I cannot imagine, after raising 2 kids, bro, I cannot imagine having to become a new parent right now and raise my kids in what this next generation is going to be.
Exactly.
I got a buddy of mine, damn near same age as me, just talking to him the other day. Yeah, bro. Wife got pregnant again. What? Nigga, you get ready to have a baby in 2024? God bless you. I'm gonna pray for you, bro.
You know what's funny? Me and my wife had that same conversation about her having another child or adopting. And at first I was all for it. I was like, yeah. And she has a daughter and I claim her daughter as my daughter, And something hit me like, you got a daughter, bro. Like, you good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and I claim her as my daughter. When I speak of her, I say my daughter. You know,
Same with me. A lot of people don't even know that my daughter is my stepdaughter. She was
right,
3 years old when my wife and I met.
right.
Yeah. But it's just a scary thought, bro. Going back to the picture that I mentioned earlier with the young lady, and her daughter,
Yeah.
throwing that up.
Hmm. Hmm.
That generation raising kids
Mm.
is a horror movie to me, bro. That's worse than any Freddy Krueger, any Silence of the Lamb
Hmm.
episode. Yo,
Hmm.
it's a scary thought, man. And
Right.
I don't even know where the change could happen. Honestly,
That was
I,
my
I don't
next question. Like,
I don't even know where the change could happen, bro.
right,
Like
because a lot of parents, believe it or not, they blame it on government officials. Um,
it's everybody's fault but ours.
right. It when they see videos like that one, like the one I just played, they instantly, for some reason, talk about the rec centers. And at one point, I was like, "Yeah, you're right. They need to open up." And then I thought about it. I said, "Wait a minute. No, they don't. Because even if you open up another rec center or open up rec centers for kids to go to, a lot of them wouldn't go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the solution. And I think the solution is parents need to talk to their children. That's the number one solution. You can point the finger all you want, but where were you when they was in Macy's?
Mm. They was looking at the TikTok videos that they had just made
Right,
with their daughter the night
right,
before. We want to be cute and make TikTok videos,
right, right.
but
So that's it. That's the solution right there. Where were you when your child was running amok in Macy's and in Towson? Where were you when your child was running amok out here in these streets in Baltimore?
and the
So
sad
there's
part. Now, I was just gonna say the sad part about it, Dig, is that when you hear us have conversations like this, it comes off as every single child, every single person in that generation is bad, and we're not saying that at all because we know
no.
some damn good young people,
Oh yeah,
that are
yeah.
doing great things in
Right,
school, doing great things in their community,
right.
but unfortunately, they're not the ones that go viral. You know what I mean? Like the Towson situation.
Right.
They're not the ones that are on the news, getting recognition for the stuff that they're doing. That's the
Exactly.
stuff that's kind of swept under the rug because it's stuff like that video that we want. And that was a white man filming that video, by the way.
Hmm.
Let's
Yeah.
not get that twisted. So what his conversation was when that video was off and when he got back home and he was talking
Hmm.
to his boys. We know
Hmm.
what that conversation
Oh
was.
yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah. But unfortunately, like I said, those ones that are doing good, those ones that are, getting good grades in school and, doing all the stuff that they're supposed to be, they don't go viral.
No. And that's the sad part.
Part of the
Unfortunately, that's
reason, part of the reason, and I think I mentioned to you this before, part of the reason that I started Baltimore Flavor Radio was because every time I talked to somebody outside of Baltimore, all they wanted to talk about was the wire.
was
They
the
wanted to talk
wire.
about the drugs. They
Mhm.
wanted to talk about the murders. And I was like, damn, that's all y'all think of. That's the first thing that comes to mind when y'all hear the
Right.
word Baltimore.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I didn't know how much dopeness we had here at that time, but I've learned over, the years. And it's up to people like us,
Hmm.
me doing what I do, you with Charm City Direct and everything,
Hmm.
to continue to use our platforms to show the world
Right.
that is more.
Right.
Because Channel 2 not going to do it. Channel 13 is not going to do it. You see when CNN pulled up when there was a riot.
Right.
You see when Geraldo Rivera pulled up on North and Pennsylvania Avenue
Right.
when there was a riot. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And they was about to beat his ass.
It was about to be his
Right.
dummy. Dummy. He deserved whatever he was going to get. But I'm saying that to say that's when all of the and that's what people around the world see. CNN
Right.
is international. There's CNNs in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
There's CNNs in Czechoslovakia. So somebody in
Mm-hmm.
Czechoslovakia was watching TV that night saying, "Damn, this is what they do in Baltimore."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So our little platforms, you know, that a lot of people take for granted we're the ones that have to continue to spearhead, you know, stuff like that, and continue to, you know, to show positivity and let people know that we do have more going on.
Right. And it's crazy that you say that because, like I said, when I used to travel, because I got to travel at an early age, and I tell people out of state where I was from right off the break. It was two things for me though.
Ooh,
Right. It
that's
was
the
two
way.
things for me. It was The Wire and Drew
Mhm.
Hill.
Bam. Yeah.
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 It was violence, but at
Yeah. But
it
then
was
some music.
something positive. Yeah. It was music and violence. And I said, "Oh, The Wire." That was always the first. And then, but no, Drew Hill's from. I said, "Yeah." You know. So yeah, it's crazy, but you would never
I'm about to
hear
knock this
about
dog.
you will never hear about a teenager uh winning a scholarship to college, or um you would never hear about a young black scientist who was young or anything like that. And that's sad. That's really sad. Y'all are important. Just want to put this comment up from Ebony. Y'all are important. What y'all do matters. Just show the Baltimore that the
I think
world
she's saying, yeah, I think
don't
she's
want
saying
to
you show the
acknowledge.
world the Baltimore.
Oh yeah, you show the world. I'm sorry. You show the
The-
world the
We
Baltimore.
show the Baltimore that the world
Right.
doesn't want to acknowledge. We show
I'm
the,
all over the place.
I
Thanks, right.
see
Right.
I see what she's saying. Yeah.
Right. Hey, I just want to say thank you, Antoine, for coming on the show
Absolutely,
and
man.
sharing your thoughts on this topic. And before we go, talk about your show, man. Talk about Access Granted. How can people watch? How can people tune in?
You can catch us every no, let me stop that. You can catch us on Monday nights because it's damn sure not every
Right,
Monday. So
right,
let me stop that.
right.
Because we take the month of December off, period, just off of GP. But then even during the year, it's other monies that we're not on. But you can catch us Monday nights, 7 p.m. Either on my Facebook page, Antoine Grant, on the Access Granted the Pod Stream page, or on our YouTube channel, Access Granted the Pod Stream. As you know, I deviated away a little bit from what I was doing with the radio stuff with Baltimore Flavor Radio, which was strictly about Baltimore and Baltimore people.
Right, right, right.
Now, thanks to this, you know, this thing called technology, you can send a link to somebody in Zimbabwe, you know, and talk to them.
There you
So,
go.
you know, I've you know, been fortunate enough to talk to people from other cities and you know, actually from other countries as well. But I always make sure that I keep Baltimore as the home base. I'm never going to not have Baltimore people on my show. I'm never going to not talk about Baltimore because it's the city we was born and raised in, bro. And if we don't love us, nobody else will. Clearly,
Exactly.
nobody else will. But
Exactly.
yeah, man, catch us, you know, follow us on all of the social media stuff, man. Like, share, subscribe. I got to get used to saying all of that kind of stuff because I don't say it enough and it
Right.
reflects. But, you know, again, man, we just going to keep using our platforms, bro, to just try to keep growing, man, and
Right.
you know, doing this thing. And salute to you. I had to laugh when you were introducing and you said that WLEO was worldwide, and it made me think of the movie Step Brothers, which I love, when they were like prestige worldwide.
Worldwide.
I don't know why I thought about that when you said worldwide, yo, but I don't know if you saw me because I was in the background. But yeah, man,
Right.
salute to you, and you know, keep on doing what you're doing, bro. We, you know,
Thanks, man.
just two little dudes from Baltimore City trying to make a difference, man. At the
Right,
end of the
right,
day.
right. And shout out to Ebony. I don't know if Brian told you, but y'all gonna be on my show next week. Um,
Woo!
that's one way to putting it out there. So make
Ebony
sure y'all
got bars.
right,
Ebony
right,
got bars.
right.
No, hey, but salute to them, bro. That and I commented on the page Friday when they dropped that, yo. I love the concept of what they're doing with their
Yes,
album, bro. That
yes.
is fire.
Real
That is
man.
fire,
I
and I'm
was
looking
like,
forward to. I
it
don't
is.
know how to pronounce. I don't know how to pronounce the first plant the first flower. I don't know how to pronounce it because I'm not looking at it right now. But I listened to the song the other day, and it's dope.
Yes,
And I love the concept of what they're doing, man. That's fire.
yes,
Man,
yes.
if me and my wife made an album, it would be more like Red Man and Method Man, so or something like that. So salute to y'all with what y'all doing, bro. That's a fire concept, and I can't wait to hear the whole thing. And unfortunately, we have to wait until the anniversary to get the whole project. But
Right.
I think it's just a couple of months away, so I'm definitely looking forward to it.
So make sure y'all are tuned in next Sunday at 3 o'clock, I believe. That's the time. And I will have the pleasure of
Why
interviewing
you make me
the
come on that
Collins.
too, bro? No, I'm just playing.
Right.
There go Brian lyrics. What's up,
Yes,
B?
Brian with them lyrics. Yes. So make sure
Hey,
y'all are tuned in next week. I will have the pleasure of having the Collins
yeah.
live.
I saw
Yeah.
Brian a couple of weeks ago, man. No, I'm sorry, I keep saying a couple of weeks. Last week, I think it
Okay.
was. At the 8x10 with the beauty and bars, man, and it was funny to sit back and just watch Brian during the show because, in addition to being a hip hop artist, Brian is a big hip hop fan.
Yes.
And when the girls were up there rocking out, bro, I was just looking at Brian, and Brian just had the sway going on every song, bro. I was like, look at my
Right.
little man right there. But yeah, that was a dope show. Shout out to all of the sisters that came out and
Yes.
represented
That
that.
was dope.
Hey, Digga, you gotta start coming outside more, bro.
Hey man, I gotta get off of work
Hey
at
man,
8.
call in.
Yeah. I'm one day I'm a work on my cough. Like I can't
If
come
you
in.
work on the, I learned that if you start coughing by Wednesday, you can at least be off on Friday.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna keep
I
that in
learned.
mind.
especially since COVID, because now they don't want you coming around. You know, if you inhale too hard, they think you got COVID. They want to give you 5 days off.
Yo,
So
that is crazy. I was thinking about that. I had caught an Uber and I had coughed, and the guy that was driving, he was like,
yeah,
it's like, and then I had to cough again. I was trying to hold it in,
yeah.
like, and that's
I'm
hard.
surprised, I'm surprised he ain't push a button and the whole quarantine
Right.
wall just came down. Right.
Bubble. You sit there, don't move. Hey, everybody, this has been another great episode of Conversations with Edigga. Special thanks to co-host and the host of Access Granted, the Posh Cream, my
I gotta
man,
do it
Mr.
one time.
Antoine Grant.
I gotta do it one time. It's the
All
man you all know and love.
right. Hey, yo, when I was saying that, Kwame, I was like, please don't. I hope I don't get them papers, man. I hope I don't get them papers. Like you've been saying it all these years.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check us out next week at 3 p.m. right here on Charm City Direct TV on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I might go live on Instagram. Who knows? And I holla at you.
Wide.
Prestige worldwide. Make sure y'all tune in. Thank you for tuning in. And I holla at you when I smile at you. Peace.